everyone? Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tuber. Welcome back. If this is your seventh, the Rookie Season 7 episode review, hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the bigger world now. I apologize if I sound a little down right now. I had a protocol to do during the original airing, so I had to wait till literally Hulu dropped this around midnight to watch the episode because I was going to be pretty tired tomorrow to do the review, and then I still have Madlog, and then I have Reacher. I have a very busy content schedule coming up, so I thought rather to just go ahead and just get it out of the way now. I work late tomorrow, so it works out pretty well for my sleeping schedule. Not really, but But here we are, the Rookie. We have now officially moved to the lower time slot, which, even though last week I literally said it was blessing in disguise, and this week I'm recording this. I'm starting to record this review at 1 a.m. in the morning. So I'm like, this is wonderful. This is great. But yeah, with all that being said, yeah, I this episode was a very. I think people were really excited for this episode mainly because of what happened last week. Like, what was the follow up? And sad to say, you don't really get that much, but I really did like the episode a lot. Not because of that, of not getting that scene, but just mainly of how everything, like, we're kind of, again, serialized storytelling is fine. We're concluding things, moving on to new things. And I'm very excited for that. I really am. This introduced some new concepts that I'm excited for them to keep playing with. Concluded some concepts we've been playing with since the start of season 7, and I'm just again I'm really thrilled. This is a milestone episode for a lot of things, and I'm really excited to see how the team gets to work on this moving forward. Again, I believe we're not even up to the halfway mark this season. So, with that being said, yeah, I'm incredibly excited to see what more they have left in store for us as we continue forward on this season. But with all that being said, let's just get into it. Let's go into the butchered recap and talk about this week's episode of The Rookie. So we begin with a very somber, cold opening. It's Bradford at at a support group. So apparently after so my thinking of it was that as soon as the whole psychiatrist thing blew up on everyone last year, that I guess Bradford probably went kind of AWOL on his helping himself type of trip. No, he actually continued. He's in a support group now. He's told his fellow peers and counselor about Lucy specifically, that he was on the road to mending their professional and personal relationship before even thinking about getting back into anything romantical. And he's bringing up some regrets with their Valentine's Day hookup, that wasn't the right step for them, that should have definitely been focusing on continuing themselves, continuing their own journey together separately, healing their trust in each other. And he feels like that's kind of been a hindrance on that's going to set them back a little bit. But the counselor did say some things like, well, right, yes, technically as a result you did overstep a little bit, but however it was reciprocal. She had to make sure and certain, like, it was consenting, right, that both of you wanted this. And Bradford said, yes, we both wanted this. And I was like, okay, as a person, you are technically fine, since this is something you wanted. This is something both of you wanted. So definitely this gives a little bit of, credence, that a little bit of comfort in your decision-making process, as we parallel to Chen, who is getting ready for the day. And while she's doing her makeup, she finds getting herself very lovely flashbacks to her moment with Bradford last week. It's kind of giving her a little steamy thoughts as Juarez enters the room, celebrating to the fact today is officially her last day in the FTO program. It's done. It's finally coming to an end after what still feels like forever. It's literally been 2 seasons and a half, but it's almost over. She's about to be clocked and done, ready to move on to an official P2 status with the others. Everyone's excited. She wants to be excited, but she's a little bit also, kind of distracted on the Bradford front, but she does still express support for Selena on her last big day, and hopefully that it ends up being a good shift so that she can get all the fulfillment to pass and move on to the next day, work day, officially independent from working with with Nolan. Which, not to say Nolan is a bad person, but he's been very much been he's not been in his best self lately, especially when he's in the locker room getting ready to change for the day, and just like multiple officers giving him good luck, you're fine, man, don't worry. And it's like, damn, like, because apparently there's a Korean the officers that most of their first marriages in their career trajectory usually ends in divorce due to, like, the long hours, the difficult work hours, that it's not really something that's accustomed to do. But Bradford does give him a little recommendation of, like, make sure today is an action-packed day. Don't worry about the things going on at home. Just focus on the action stuff. Like, get yourself distracted on a lot of things, because that seems to work out for cops when they have to get their mind off things. Meanwhile, behind them, Ridley and Penn are about to start their shift. Penn getting an update from Ridley's chemotherapy, which is seemingly to going well, while Penn is still kind of going through his breakup from last week. Bradford, being kind of himself, still kind of tries to put Ridley in his place of, like, okay, you may be on chemotherapy, but you ain't getting any special treatment from me. You definitely still need to make sure you are up to code for the program, and also don't give Chen a rough time, because again, it's we're trying to be accommodating, but at the same time, don't expect Chen to be too accommodating to you. Obviously, you still need to have a well balanced tutelage on in your own FTO journey. So don't get discouraged from that. Um, I want to say, yeah. So we cut back to Lopez. We cut to Lopez and Harper, who are just beginning their days. Harper gets called into the interrogation room, where it's actually James, because she's been very much AWOL on the communication front that we got back in episode 2 or 3 with their different stances on policing, and how things are standing in the stations. And James is being clear, like, yeah, no, we spoke that we were going to start talking about it, but we never have started talking about it. Which I'm like, so y'all just kind of put up that front last week at the whole Valentine's Day event, like, that nothing was happening, especially at dinner 2-3 weeks ago as well with Lopez and Bradford, and not Bradford, with Wesley. So I'm like, y'all live together, y'all never even talked about it for weeks. So I'm like, this is wonderful. This is wonderful to say the least. But he is saying, like, we need to put some work in. We definitely need to make some progress on this. Since, again, we keep saying we're going to talk about it, we never talk about it. So I'm like, even now, like, I have to, like, do this entire charade just to even get a few minutes extra with you. So definitely just giving her the mindset of, like, please, let's make the effort. Let's actually keep that going. And honestly, she does have to agree with him. But again, like, her being her, she's just, like, very much, like, not 100%. Like, trying to find the right balance with it, especially with managing her caseload and everything that's going on right now. We don't get a bullpen meeting. We don't get that. I want to say we just hit the streets right away. I know Nolan, trying to get his mind off things, just has, Juarez just hitting all the high level, high risk calls, because, again, he needs action. He needs to, like, get his mind off Bailey. At the same time, Bailey is also trying to get her mind off Nolan. I'm not really 100%. She's just also, like, trying to wait for Nolan to make a move, trying to figure out what the plan is. She's been bunking over at one of her co-workers' houses for the time being while she's waiting Nolan's response. And, her co-worker's like, I understand, but at the same time, since you're not giving me much detail, I kind of would just prefer for Nolan to pull the trigger and just get you back over to the house so that, I get my couch back. Yeah, so from there we go to a high priority call, reaching out to nearby channels. Bradford and Penn pick up on it, where there is a potential domestic abuse happening. Where once they arrive to the scene, they find a man trying to break into a woman's shelter, trying to get in contact with his wife. The organizer for the women's shelter attempts to find him off, but sadly was unsuccessful until Penn, Bradford, and also Bailey show up. Bailey being the one to actually take him down when Penn puts on the cuffs for him. And yeah, very violent way to start the episode. Very violent way. Meanwhile, for Ridley and Chen, again, still kind of awkward, considering the fact the last time Chen was about to see Ridley, she was ready to let him go. And then that announcement happened. So this is kind of the first time they're kind of back in the same room together. And so she's understanding of the situation, but at the same time, she's also like, yeah, well, not really. Like, she's not really a big fan of Ridley right now. Let's just be honest with that. But Ridley's also trying to be honest with her, saying, look, I apologize for my lies for the last few weeks, but I swear to God, when it comes to medical stuff, I'm not lying about it. I signed away all my privacy for my medical history, so you could literally just look at it right now and like confirm it. And she said, I probably will, because again, she does not have any trust for Ridley right now, no trust whatsoever for him right now. Nolan and Juarez pick up a call for a nearby robbery that took place, finding the vehicle to match the description. They head over to meet the owner of the van, and the van owner happens to be a very, very attractive male. Got the pecs, got the muscles. He's not like bodybuilder, but he looks good, and I will admit that as a male. I will admit that he looked very good, and Juarez was immediately taken back by him. And Nolan having to kind of keep her in check, like, relax. Can we just check the car out? Make sure that there's nothing illicit happening in between there. And he says, okay. He opens the door. The weapons are there. But then we have the return of the hammer, which if you remember back from episode 100 where Bradford had a one-on-one fight with him. Yeah, he's back. He's out of jail already. He immediately picks up Juarez like nothing, throws her at Nolan, and they take the shot. But I'm just like, that was not on my bingo card for the rookie this year. Like seeing Juarez get like literally thrown at Nolan, it was just like something you see in like a movie, and I'm like, that's really that's funny, and at the same time, damn, like that's kind of embarrassing for them to like for that to happen to them. So I'm like, Isha, wouldn't want to be them right now. Penn and Bradford finishing up the domestic violence call. From where they are right now, him saying some choice words about just what he wants to do to his wife, and Penn kind of yells at him a bit for saying those things. Bradford had to kind of like pull him out of it and say he can't say those sort of things. Technically, he can file now for misconduct, and he can make a lot of money considering the fact we have the body cam footage of. And Penn does admit like he is a little bit sensitive to this to these sort of calls since back when he was in Texas as an officer. He responded to a call with again domestic violence, and he was too late to respond as the husband killed both the wife and the kids as retaliation, and he holds himself over for that. And Bradford's like, look, it's a very difficult part of the job when we can't make it in time to save the day. It's part of it. We just gotta kind of pick up our pieces and move forward. That's all we can really do as officers. Sometimes we're not going to be able to save the day and, help out the civilians that need us. It just happens. Meanwhile, Bailey is transporting the woman over to the hospital. She's giving a little bit of backstory about herself that, she's had a lot of domestic violence in the past, and she's kind of had to toughen up and be the sort of leadership for other people that need assistance as well. But sometimes even that can still lead to these points where like she's not able to always protect herself and keep her fellow people safe. Even seeing Bailey of like there's something beneath you too, and Bailey kind of is not really hiding the fact that she's been through a lot as well, especially considering where she is now with Nolan. Meanwhile, speaking of Nolan, back at the van, the Lopez and Harper kind of fill in on these two people. Obviously, we know about the hammer. We know about the other individual. They've been known people just stealing weapons of high casualties in the past. They never really did anything too big in the before, but they've been on their radar. The radar. And Nolan and Juarez is just kind of ready to kind of coast along a little bit, trying not to go past anything. And then Gray shows up ready to reprimand Nolan for like, this is your second time you got your shop stolen in your entire career. And Nolan's like, I apologize. We will do our best to get it back. And he's like, you better. And oh yeah, I completely forgot about the other subplot before we even go into the next scene where so Chen gets a call from Tamara, which it's been a while since obviously she moved out the last time we saw her. It's been a while. Obviously, she's recurring, so we don't get to see her that often. She's kind of been just living her life in doing college very well. She drops by the apartment. She says she needs her, so her and Ridley head over there to meet up with Tamara. And immediately, Ridley and Tamara kind of got them looks of like, hey. And Chen's like, oh no. And I'm like, this is the worst fear Chen can have right now. Because like, as a mom's sister to Tamara, she's kind of like picky about the type of people she wants her to date. And then here comes this like immediate connection. And I'm like, oh no. But anyway, point of the matter is that Tamara received this free candy sample from a fellow student of hers on campus. When she opened it up, the candy was laced with Xanax and a bunch of other medication, and yeah, this is a potential party drug, a new type of it. She immediately let Chen know to look into the matter, and Chen obviously thinking like as her undercover self, like, okay, we got to go in, confirm that he is a seller, make sure there is a legitimate connection there, and obviously she's like, okay, I will go undercover to verify as a college student. I'm just like thinking 22 Jump Street, we're like, Chen, you were just not believable as a college student. It's just not possible. But Ridley is. So Ridley volunteers himself to go undercover. Tamara even saying like, yeah, Ridley could be my boyfriend. And Chen's immediately like, no, just no, let's not do that plan. But they do that plan because again, it seems like an easy buy-in for them. Um, yeah, so from there, yeah, so Chen gives Gray the call, gets the verification to do it. Obviously, Gray has to ask, "Are you sure Ridley's ready for this?" And she's like, "Yeah," because they don't really have much of a choice. They kind of have to infiltrate this thing right now, to get the lowdown of it. So, they agree on it, and he says, "Okay, but you need a second supervising officer, to conduct this." So he's sending over Smithy, which I'm just like, this is a very interesting pairing right there. That's a very interesting pairing right there. Meanwhile, Harper, Lopez, Juarez, and Nolan head over to the chop shop where the two that just stole the shop over are present, and they're trying to get a little bit of surveillance, trying to see what the best course of action is. And the guy literally just takes off his shirt right in public. I mean, yeah, I like look. California is a very hot state. But I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, this is unnecessary. This is really unnecessary. No one having to be the real adult here, kind of like keep everyone in check right now. So they plan it out. Nolan and Juarez will take out the hammer. Lopez and Harper will take out the other the good looking individual. So they sneak in. The guy, even like when he's cornered, trying to use his looks to get out of this, it doesn't work. And Nolan and Juarez seem to be ready for a proper showdown with the hammer. But Selena, thinking smarter, not harder, just pepper sprays him, locks him in a room, and just like, yeah, that should take care of him. We don't need to like really get all physical. She already did that 2 episodes ago, so that's not really necessary, to be honest with you. Yeah, so from there, I want to say I don't think we get anything else with Bradford and Penn for the while. So I think we just cut straight to Lopez and Smith and to Shannon and Smithy overseeing Tamara and Ridley having to pose as a couple, trying to get the buy-in from the guy, which goes relatively smoothly. Obviously, Tamara and Ridley kind of play the role of like a couple kind of too quickly, so to speak. I have no idea how old Ridley is. I really don't know. Like he's very much on the young side, and same with Tomorrow. So I'm like, yeah, it could work out. It's convincing enough. He gets the buy-in. He gets a sample for $300, which I'm just like, damn. This is like that's way. First of all, like this should be sus because like there ain't no way that Ridley should have had that much cash. Like the dealer should have been like, huh, you got conveniently that amount of money on you. I'm just saying, too coincidental. But it works, and Ridley sadly kind of, pushes it a little further to get like, hey, like, can you get more of this for me? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Like, yeah, I got a guy back at my school, throws parties all the time, always looking for new incentives. And he's like, okay, I will reach out to you for a buy-in, and it's like that's great. So even though that it was successful, they got it in, but Chance is like you're playing with fire here. You're playing a little bit too much with fire over here, and Smitty's is like supporting him like attaboy. It's kind of like this weird family dynamic. You know what? I'm gonna stop right there because that just sounds really really weird. So we're back at the station. They're processing the hammer, properly. Who is now all red over here with his eyesight, and the other guy, which immediately tracks the entire female officers of the station, including one male, and Gray just had to like shoo them away, like back to work. That's just a human being, nothing we've ever seen before online. Back to work, and Lopez and Harper just ready to cut to the chase, just like okay, here's what you're facing against. Here's all the charges, and the guy's like, wait, hold on. You can arrest me and my associate and just leave it there. But what if I could tell you if I can get you access to an even bigger fish if you let us help you? So they whoop in Wesley. They approve the deal. It's like as long as he can lead to a bigger ship, the DA office will play, and they're just having to the only thing they need to do is have everything ready the prior night before, so they need 2 officers to work an overnight shift to watch these two, and they immediately pick on Nolan and Bradford considering the fact they're going through current lady troubles. So they immediately just choose them out, just like the dudes probably just need like a night away from home, but like, okay, sure, extra money is always helpful with the economy. Yeah, I don't think we got anything as Juarez finishes up a report, and Nolan is very excited to say Juarez is officially done with her FTO program. We have had another rookie graduate on the show. All hands and bow. Congratulations to Juarez, who has been through a lot in her 2.5 seasons. And now she's ready to kind of, be among the others as like, fellow peers. That'll definitely also give, which is actually curious, like, will that mean that no one will just get Ridley now since, or will Chen finish it? That actually poses an interesting question. I can't wait for the next few weeks to discuss, because technically Nolan is the training officer on site. And now that he already finished Juarez's training, it would make sense for him to take over Ridley's. But we'll see how that goes. We'll see. I'm not really 100% certain on how that will work, whether or not Nolan will kind of take a break from the training program for a while until his next rookie shows up. So I think from there we go over to, so everyone's celebrating, everyone's cheerful about the victory. It's just, happy vibes going around. That kind of ends the day for everyone as Nolan and Bradford are sent off to begin their supervising shift over these 2 criminals. Meanwhile, Bailey visits the woman she saved earlier, taking up on her advice, like, for a little communication, and she does fill her in kind of what's been going on about her and her ex, that he's done not traditional approaches of abuse. He has definitely abused her in other ways. And, she's kind of, always been haunted by that. Always been, like, even now, like, newly married, new husband and everything. It's still holding over her. And even now that he's officially dead, like, now that she's in the middle of this, crisis with Nolan. And, she doesn't want it to end because of it, because that means Jason would win, even though he's already gone. But the woman says, like, he's not going to win because he's dead. There's nothing, what can he benefit from this? He is a dead man. You are still alive. You still have a husband. You still have a constant team member by your side. And, obviously, you got to admit to yourself, that things are not as, translation as you may have assumed to him. And you got to explain to him that the fact there was much more deeper levels of damage done, that, you're never going to move forward unless you kind of admit, that you were abused like that. And I think that kind of has to give Bailey the push she needs to kind of, make things up with Nolan. Then we cut over back to Bradford and Nolan. They're supervising the guys. We got another Hulu, cash-in reference. Nolan tries to get a little bit of, advice from Bradford, but the other two try to like chive in, trying to like get involved in their gossip, and they immediately get shooed away. Even Bradford and him are like, "Hey, I met you before. I kicked your ass before." And he like kind of, and Nolan, and Bradford gives like Nolan the run that's like, "Oh yeah, your Bailey's ring got pawned away from this guy, so we had to get it back for you before your wedding." And Nolan's like, "Wait, what? You did that? I mean, I wasn't notified by this." Like, damn, that was a whole 6-7 months ago. Like, damn, that was so far away ago. Meanwhile, back over, I want to say, Harper goes back to Lopez's house first. She still does not want to deal with James right now, trying to like the two are kind of on the same page when it comes to the current conditions of policing, but when you get down to the brass specifics of it, there are obviously some overarching differences between them that is creating this sort of conflict between them right now. And she just wants to get it over with. She just wants to move past it, like get to the next stage, like when they're out of it. And Wesley does chime in. We're like, well, technically, well, yeah, you two are on the same page on certain things, at the same time, he's also, he kind of just wants to see something be done by it, again, like, he is your husband. He is, obviously understandful to your job and the conditions that may approach from it. But at the same time, it's also like, yeah, you kind of have to make some moves, make some effort, show him that you want to make change. Because at the end of the day, you're the one in the position of power. You're the one on the real side that needs to be changed. So kind of, as a sign of good faith, you need to make the effort. And Harper's like, okay, I see what you mean there. Meanwhile, Juarez and Chen are ready to kind of, celebrate a little bit over their victory, which is kind of a little, I mean, I don't know if it's budgetful or just kind of sad. Where like they're celebrating in the apartment. They're not even going out for drinks or anything. And Juarez just kind of, realizes that, hey, I went for a whole year of this training program. I'm going to be rewarded with another 29 years of work just to get the retirement. And Jen's like, yep, them's the breaks. However, their celebration is briefly interrupted as Chen sees on tomorrow's social media feed she is with Ridley now. Obviously not an official couple capacity, but they're on a date, and that kind of sets Chen off the wrong way, obviously, for both protection reasons and obviously her susness against Ridley reasons. So the two of them enjoying their little ice cream date right now get stopped over by the same individual that they were trying to broach off before, especially with his crew right now. He's like, yeah, you said you gonna buy our product? Yeah, let's go now. Let's kind of, get that arranged right now. We're night's still young, and obviously, Ridley is trying to still pass off as like, it's date night, let's kind of, can we just, do this another time? He's like, no, it's kind of ready to do the negotiations now, so let's kind of, head on over there. And Ridley's like, okay, I'll go alone. Let's head over right now. Let's let Tamara just stay here, eat her ice cream, and then we'll meet up later once the deal's over. So yeah, he gets in the car. Tamara kind of sends a photo to Chen, calls her up, filling her into the situation. And even though technically there should be nothing wrong, right? But like technically with Ridley being an officer, he needs to be having an off-duty badge on him and his weapon. So technically once they search him and confirm he's a cop, he's a dead man. So there's a ticking time clock against, trying to get him out of this, sort of thing before he gets to the boss's location. Meanwhile, Bradford and Nolan continue to babysit their criminals. Even Nolan asking Bradford for advice about just marriage and policing, sort of thing. Like saying like, well, when did you think it was over with Isabel? And Bradford's like, at the time, I didn't. I just assumed things were going well and things were continuing. It just happened to be, like things happened until I found out like, yeah, his marriage was over. But you never want to like, you just give up and like not fight for it. Again, he's still holding regret for not fighting more with Chen at the time. And now he's paying for it. But at the end of the day, it's just what it is right now. And they got to just keep going through it. And that's just kind of like Nolan's got to keep fighting for it. That, if he really wants to make it work, if he knows it's the end, you got to try at least one more time. One more big push. And if it doesn't work then it's a sign that it's just not meant to be. That it's not. Chen picks up tomorrow alongside with Juarez, trying to get to Ridley, trying to coordinate a plan. She calls in Bradford for assistance. Bradford's ready to like get another officers to relieve him. Nolan obviously volunteering to assist as well. So they're gonna make sure that the two criminals are like safely sleeping away beforehand, but one is already in the bathroom. So Bradford goes to check on him. He opens the door. He's not in the common place. However, he does notice one of the metal bars, one of the metal tower holders is missing. He gets struck in the head from it when Nolan notices like, the discrepancy. So he makes sure the hammer is, nearby and secured when Bradford comes in being held at gunpoint by him, and Nolan does the same with the hammer. And the hammer's like, wait, hold on, dude. I didn't sign up for this. I took the deal to get out of this situation, so you're ruining my deal for me. And the guy's like, no, we can get out of this together. We don't even need a deal. We can just get out of this scot-free. And the hammer's like thinking of it, and I'm like, no, I want my deal. So the guy literally just pulvers the other dude, like holds him in like a vice grip and just like, damn. That's the second thing I would not expect to see it from the rookie this year. I'm just flabbergasted with what they're showing us this year from the show. Meanwhile, thankfully, Chen and Juarez manages to like, kind of figure things out without Bradford's assistant. Managed to actually to like have a stop paid around the same path that they would have been taking to get to the leader's household. And then when they're pulling him over, asking for license registration, sadly, he does reveal the pills, which is enough for them to pull over everyone and pull Ridley out of that situation, with Chen putting him in the back of the shop. And Jen being in the middle of like, firm yet trying to be right by Tamara, just like, I don't have a key for your cuff, so you're kind of stuck like this till we get to the station. I'm just like, great. That is a little degrading to tell Ridley, yeah, you are not allowed to date Tamara. You are not allowed. So we're back at the station. Bradford and Nolan kind of filling Lopez and Harper in. They managed to still get the big bus. That's over. So now Lopez and Harper gets to swoop in for the interrogation, takes the credit for the whole thing, while Bradford and Nolan have even more stories to tell for that night. However, before they can all spread away, Harper does ask Nolan for her advice on his advice for starting a police improvement advocacy group within the Middle Wilshire station. Obviously, Nolan's ready to sign up, ready to assist in that cause. Obviously, as a cue to get James to see that there is going to be official improvement happening right now within the station. And Nolan immediately is like, so we're gonna get a secret handshake. We're gonna get some matching T-shirts. And Harper's like, shut up, and just like, okay. We should really get matching T-shirts for, which would be very, very nice. Chen just makes sure tomorrow's safe, lets her know that Ridley's okay as well. And that's kind of when Chen kind of has to step in a little bit, kind of tells her, hey, just letting you know that I don't think you should be dating Ridley now. He is a pathological liar. Like, you shouldn't be dating him. And then obviously Tamara takes it as like, you're telling me I can't date him. And she's like, okay, wait. I misspoken. And she's like, don't bother. You do not control who I get to date or not. And obviously Chen steps out of turn. Bradford hears partial of it, kind of gets fills in the rest of the details. And even Bradford advised, should I enact the stare of Bradford down on him so that officially he won't be dating tomorrow? And she's like, no, it'll just make it worse. Let it be. There's something that can be done right there. It is what it is. Penn heads over to the hospital to meet the same woman that Bailey was talking to before, to volunteer his services as an off-duty cop and security officer for them, non-paid, doesn't need any sort of income for that. He just wants to help. He just wants to make sure that they're all safe and sound, and that's all that he really wants to do, to keep them protected. They also kind of still help out without overstepping or trying to be too much of a hero on that front, which is very noble of him to do. Harper heads back home, tells James the good news about the advocacy group, and that he's making James the official chief liaison officer for the group, and that he will be in charge of, coordinating things going forward. And James does appreciate that, as well as, still appreciative that they're trying to make the marriage work and improve moving forward for them. And Nolan returns home from a long shift and finds Bailey there, surprisingly for him, considering the current stances of things. And she lets him know, Bailey should have been a little bit more honest about things with her and Jason. That she, about the whole, their past and everything, she's having to label this as abuse because, Jason did abuse her a lot. And it's kind of pushed her to this point where, when she got the phone from Maduro, that, there was a possibility where I could be free. And I was fearing for my safety because, again, even though she's a very well-trained person, she could defend herself. He's still a very dangerous man. He could have done a lot of things to her, and that there was still a little bit of helplessness from that, and having that line to an assassin could have stopped that. She admitted that was a moment of weakness, but she was also pushed to that moment from him before, and Nolan also acknowledges his police instincts kind of kicked in, his moral stance kicked in, when in reality he should have been a husband first. He should have been a partner first, and he should have realized that Bailey needed help, and that she needed someone in her corner, despite the legality of it, and that's what Nolan should have been for her. So to make up, they have a very nice, sweet hug. It's all good, and that was the end of this week's episode of The Rookie. I enjoyed it very much. I think ending Nolan and Bailey's ongoing saga like this, I think it was very sweet. It was nice for Bailey to acknowledge her past trauma finally to Nolan, and now that they're able to finally take a full step forward to getting out of it. Congrats to Juarez for finishing up her FTO program. That opens her up to exciting new opportunities where that may take her in the show next. Obviously Chen and Bradford fans are probably very bummed to not get a follow-up scene so far next, but again, like I said, trust the writers. But getting Tamara back and giving Chen another new thing to deal with, especially with Tamara and Ridley possibly being a couple going forward, you never know. You never know where they might go. Again, the show is very surprising when it comes to pairings like these. And Penn giving more backstory with his past, always very sweet to see in terms of just expanding his his journey and just kind of showcasing more of his character through those moments. And yeah, I still like very sweet. Like I'm saying very sweet a lot, but like just Harper making the effort for James, that counts. That's very acknowledgeable. She's making real strides to make sure this marriage stays very well firm together. And yeah, I just very much enjoyed this episode of The Rookie. It was very well worth waiting till the midnight broadcast for me to review it. I'm very sleep deprived. But with that all being said, I'm giving them some 2 thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of this week's episode of The Rookie. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Would love to have the conversation with you about it. But with that being said, that's going to do it for me tonight, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 7th season of The Rookie. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Two besides our Rookie episode review, we got a lot coming up, everyone. This Thursday, we normally do our Matlock episode reviews each and every week after brand new episodes on CBS. Also, starting up this Thursday is a brand new season of Reacher. We are back. The muscular, tall Alan Richardson will be back gracing our TV screens again with the 3rd season. We will be reviewing every episode in the 3rd season starting up this Friday because Madlock will be taking up the Thursday slot for the moment. So stay tuned for that. We'll be doing back-to-back episode reviews. And then this Sunday, Stephen Amell's back on TV with a brand new show, Suits LA. We will be reviewing the series premiere throughout the entire hopeful 1st season for that show. So stay tuned for that on NBC. So we are very busy. And of course, we still have After the Theater coming up. But if you only care about The Rookie, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another brand new episode review. So stay tuned until then. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, share, share if you want to. Ring that bell when our next video is live. Follow us for more on social media. But until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Please be good to each other out. And until next time, peace out.